Hey guys, Ryan here with the second week of April programming, getting right into it with Monday's CrossFit training here. So, this day is called a functional bodybuilding day, and you're going to see more of these throughout the coming weeks here. Um, and most of them, I think, are going to be organized with this idea of 90-second stations. So, if you look at the first station there, it says standing dumbbell press. So, that dumbbell press is essentially the bodybuilding part of this. You're going to do those 10 reps, and then with the remaining time for the first 60 seconds, you'll do plank up downs. This is a 90-second station, so after that's essentially 60 seconds of work, you have now 30 seconds to rest before the next station, which will be almost an all-out sprint on the rower for 30 seconds. You will then have 60 seconds of rest, and then you'll do 60 seconds of Turkish get-ups. And on the Turkish get-ups, we're working on good form there. So these are the functional aspects of this. You have 30 seconds of rest then, since that was only a 60-second movement. Then you go into this hang power clean front rack hold. And essentially, I'm looking at that as over the course of the next 60 seconds, you cannot put that barbell down as you're working through your cleans. And then you get a 30-second rest before you start round number 2 of this. So the bodybuilding part is these dumbbell presses and these hang power cleans are going to increase in weight as you feel comfortable. And there's no prescribed weight here. The point is that by the time you've done 4 rounds of this, you've worked up to a very challenging weight for you. You kept the dumbbell press unbroken for those 10 reps. And for the hang power cleans, you get your hang power cleans in, but you keep the bar off the ground for 60 seconds as well. So very interesting day. I can't wait to see how this plays out. I think you guys will have some fun with it. For the skills acceleration that day, we will talk about hang power cleans, and if the population is appropriate for who shows up for these skill acceleration classes, we will talk about the full power clean pulling from the floor. You'll get some power clean demos and instruction in the class itself because you'll need that for the workout. But we'll dig into it deeper for the skills acceleration that day. For CVC, so this is confidence month. We've got a couple of confidence workouts in the week this week, but really what you're going to get this week and really what confidence is about is building that core strength. You are going to get the core blasted this week. You can't skip it this week. So we start out with the vitality workout. We've got some interesting combinations here where we've got ladders and rowing in the same workout. That's something we rarely do. In fact, I don't know if we've ever done it before. So kind of 2 cardio elements, but you get the core with the kneeling banded rotation there. And we got the lunges there to round out their lower body endurance. And then these front scales and back scales, we've done this once before, but it's really working on balance and, again, core stability there. So that's just getting started with that core work you're going to see this week in CBC. Tuesday in CrossFit. Interesting workout here. So these 5 rounds of 3-minute AMRAPs, and you look at all the work that needs to be done in this AMRAP, and you realize I can't get through all this in 3 minutes. In fact, you may only get through the first set of wall balls and half of the snatches. Well, the next 3-minute AMRAP starts off where you left. So by the time you get through all 5 minutes of this, with those 5 rounds of this, with those minutes of rest in between, you're working at a pretty hard pace every 3 minutes. You eventually get through about a round and a half to 2 rounds of this by the time you're done. And it allows you to go at each movement very intensely and start to strategize, like, can I pick up the pace because I want to finish a movement so I can earn that minute of rest before I start the next movement at the next 3-minute point. So this past Tuesday, we worked on kipping in our skill acceleration class in the context of toes to bar. This Tuesday, we're going to continue to work on kipping, but we're going to do it in the context of pull-ups because you do see some pull-ups there in this workout for some people. All right. Tuesday for CVC. So the workout here is a vital confidence, is our mixed interval here. So this is confidence month, so we want to throw in that confidence tweak on vitality there. Lots of work to be done, as you would expect from Vital Confidence. But again, I'm telling you, you're not skipping a core this week, so you've got a cash out of 3 by 25 sit-ups. The way I'd approach this is see if you can blast through a set of 25 sit-ups, rest, and then blast through another set of them, rest, and then get your last set in. Or if you need to scale at it anyway, obviously feel free to scale. Wednesday, We've got a deadlift strength component in CrossFit, and then we've got this very fast deadlift box jump over combination here. So the point of this is to stay very fast for about 6, 7, 8 minutes there as you're doing your deadlifts and your box jump overs. The deadlift weight, because we're a strong deadlifting community, you may be able to look up to the next level. If you're normally working out at an orange level, you may be able to work at the blue level, or if you're working out at yellow level, you may look up at the orange level for those deadlifts. As long as the deadlifts, even though you may be able to lift a lot of weight once or twice or in one set, we don't want those deadlifts slowing down as your heart rate starts to accelerate on this. So possibly scaling up on this one today, but make sure you keep it fast. And then we got lots of extra credit there for the Bulgarian split squats and the barbell rows. So our hump day hit class kind of is inspired by what you're going to would feel in the CrossFit classes. So we've got these 3-minute AMRAPs with 3 minutes of rest in between, which means you get to work really hard for 3 minutes. You'll never accumulate a whole lot of volume or reps at the movements here, but your heart rate is going to spike during this while you're doing your suitcase deadlifts and your 9 burpees over the kettlebells. You're going to get through that several times in those 3 minutes, really pushing yourself, really earn that 3 minutes of rest. And then you're going to go hard to the bike, 3 minutes of rest, and then hard to those wall balls and push-ups, 3 minutes of rest, and hard to that rower. So wherever you show up on Wednesday, you're gonna be feeling a pretty extreme intensity there when you get there. On Thursday, we've got some front squat work to go on here, and this is another day that's going to have you breathing heavy, because if you look at this 14-minute AMRAP, you've got front squats, and they pretty much need to stay unbroken. You've got your burpees, and you've got just enough double unders to pretty much try to push yourself unbroken every time you come back there. The goal here is to kind of keep this at about 2 to 3 minutes around, which is pretty aggressive, which means you got to keep moving during it. So the front squats stay unbroken. The burpees, though, they stay unbroken, but you probably don't want to push the pace too much, because you still got to pick up those double unders, and you got to make sure your breathing is under control and your coordination is under control with those jump ropes. We've got different scaling options for scaling down the number of double unders if you're not quite proficient on those, and going to single unders if we need to in this workout. For the extra credit and the skills acceleration, you get both this day, because this 14-minute AMRAP means we're going to focus on developing some jump rope skills before the workout, but there's not a whole lot else to teach during it. So after this 14-minute AMRAP, you get plenty of time to work on some conditioning with rowing there. These are not going to be rowing sprints, and you may scale them back a little bit, but you're going to rest in between these efforts of 1,000 meters, 500 meters, and 250 meters. That will happen in class, time permitting. The skill acceleration for that day before class, we'll be working on rowing technique. So there's a lot of technique that goes into rowing, and sometimes as we just kind of get in the habit of going into a row during a workout, we forget to really focus on, are we sitting up straight? Are we sticking that butt out a little bit so that we keep a nice neutral spine the whole time and not getting into the C shape when we're sitting on the rower and slouching? Are we pulling with good technique, following the sequence we need to be following, or are we driving that handle over our knees back and forth? Let's try to take that out of there. Do we pull that handle to our neck when we should be pulling it more to our sternum? Those are things we're going to try to dial in on that skill acceleration that day. For the CVC workout that day, this is a chance to lift some weight. However, you're not going to go super heavy with it. So with these 4 static efforts, the forward back pedal is pretty straightforward. You see how you can get to a 9 there, getting back and forth on the floor there. The plank and the plank up downs don't really get to that 9 level, because you're not breathing super heavy during there, but you're going to start to feel a burn in your triceps. Then you get to these dumbbell squat cleans. And normally in a commitment with squat cleans, we would be trying to go fairly heavy. But on this case, since you got to do this for 45 seconds, and these are going to be full squat cleans from the floor, not from the hang position, that means you're going to have to keep the weight a little bit lighter, and you're going to cycle through a big range of motion, which is going to get that heart rate up, which is why that turns into a 9. Then you go to the single arm kettlebell push press. A full 45 seconds of push press on one side means you're going to have to be conservative on that weight, especially if you've already hit those plank up downs previous to that. So keeping that all in mind, there's a lot of pushing and tricep work going on there. So we're going to reverse that in the cash out and go to our dumbbell hammer curls there and work on the biceps, the other side of the arm. And yeah, still hitting the core this week with all the plank work you're doing that day. So Friday and CrossFit, this is a chance. Our weakness as a community is our pull-ups and our dips. If we start getting better at those, we're going to start seeing those overall levels start to improve because we do really well in our weightlifting parts. So this is a chance to work on those pulling motions and those pushing motions and get a little bit of leg and core work in there as well. And we get to round out some upper body work with the farmer's carries and the front rack carries, and then have some fun with the sleds as well, which will kind of tax those quads, the lower body. Confidence that day. We've got basically 2 cardio movements paired with 2 core movements. You got your rowing, your box jumps, get the heart rate up, and then you've got the goblet up downs and the dead bugs to burn out that core. And we got some bird pickers that is a great functional confidence example of a movement for you as you're trying to brace that core and use that lower body kind of in a straight leg deadlift position. I'm noticing here I'm going to have to change the slide before you guys come see it that day. The rowing is going to be more like an 8. The goblet up downs will be the 7 and the burn factor on that one. Here's our lift for the week on Saturday at the 8 o'clock class, looking at some pressing here with the strict press, the push-ups, and then some tricep kickbacks. And then we're going to be working on the shoulders with that series at the bottom of this. For the 9 o'clock class, where we'll be doing our level method testing, you'll have a chance to test on the rings, and you'll have a chance to test your running. Not everybody has to run a mile that day. There are ways to get on the map with just 200 and 400 meter continuous jogs there, and some time 400 meters as well. Plus, we have plenty of extra credit for you to round out that day. CBC on Saturday. We've got a Vitality. This is, you can look at it and you can see there's a lot of work to be had there. In Fishersville, we're doing jump ropes. In Stanton, we're going to be doing a ski erg. We've got the Bulgarian split squats. If you didn't get enough of those in an extra credit in CrossFit earlier in the week, you get a chance on Saturday to pick that up. Single arm kettlebell power row, pulling heavy, pulling powerfully with that. Starting out conservatively, but getting to something that will be fairly heavy by the time you're done with this workout. And then more core, kneeling side to side slam balls. And then since we're working on that split squat, we'll do a little bit of pistol practice as well. So you're not expected to get to the full pistol, but you're going to start to work on balancing and maybe bringing your butt a little bit lower to a box and standing up on that one leg. All right. Can't wait to see you guys this week. Thanks.